Good day everyone, Kim Bayless here from CFB Kingston. Today's Flex Mobility video is going to focus on our upper body, thoracic, shoulders, because we're doing so much activity sitting, rounding ourselves toward computers that we're working from at home, possibly if you're a person that's doing a lot of driving, and just overall posture. A lot of people have that problem with the shoulders and chest being so tight. So we're going to work on that overhead reach, that pulling our shoulders open for our posture position. So when we check our posture, we use the wall as a perfect guide here. So if I move over to the wall, my heels should be touching, my glutes touching, my shoulders and thoracic touching, and my head touching. So the chin is tucked in. I should be able to achieve this position naturally. It's not always as easy as being natural because of those activities that we do that make our hips tight, that make our shoulders tight. But today we're just going to focus on that upper body. What you will need to do that, you will need a band of some sort. That could be a band or even the roll band, anything that's going to help strengthen some of those muscles on the opposing side. You're going to need a roller, a lacrosse ball, and a dowel. So first, we're going to start off with our rolling. This is going to draw blood flow to the areas and help loosen things up. And at the end, we're going to do a little bit of strengthening stuff. So we're going to warm things up, draw that blood flow. Then we're going to do a little bit of stretching. Then we're going to do a little bit of strengthening opposing muscle groups that have been weakened because they spend so much time in that lengthened position. So starting off with our rolling, we're going to do our T-spine and lats first. So under the lat, I'm going to roll through, searching for where I carry tension here. You're going to search for where you carry tension, so wherever that might be, we're going to raise the arm up, lift the arm up in different ranges of motion, so I can go on a 45-degree angle as I do this, or perfectly straight up overhead, rolling through. Moving my shoulder back, moving your shoulder back, moving your shoulder forward, trying to find that spot that you carry tension and working through that range. Now for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use just a guideline, but if you want to spend a little bit more time in a certain area because you feel that there's quite a bit of tension there, feel free to do so and then pick up with us later. And moving over to the other side. Rolling through the lat. Adding that reach, different ranges of motion. Find that spot that you feel that you're carrying tension. Focus on those areas. And we're going to move on to the T-spine, thoracic spine, so just above our low back. Lift our hips and roll through. Nice and slow and controlled here as you roll through. Placing the roller at the low back just above. So I can still place my hands here. Make sure you can do that as well. Cross the arms, exhale and round back, trying to touch your head to the floor. Inhale up, and then shift the hips slightly forward. Exhale, round back. Inhale up. Another shift. Exhale. And up. Work your way right up to the scapula. So if you need another one, then please do so. If you're a little bit taller and longer through the torso, you want to make sure that we're getting all the way up just to the scapula portion with that roller. Next, we're going to roll and open the chest. And then we're going to move back to the back a little bit later. So taking that ball, this is the area that we are rolling through. Rolling through this area of the chest with the ball against the wall. Into a lunge position, arm out to the side. Put your weight into it. Roll through, again, searching for where you carry tension. And we can add that reach up. Continue to roll here. I'm just going to face the camera. So another good spot to roll, if you have the edge of a door frame, you can place that roller, place your weight along the door frame ledge. Then you have the ability to not only work in this range, but to work in this range in front as well. So that's another option for you as well. So keep rolling against that wall or against that door frame. We're still on that same side here. We're almost finished. Let's move over to the other side. Again, roll it through. Search for where you feel that tension, where it's tight. Focus on those areas. Adding that reach. See if each time that you reach, if you can go a little bit further. After a couple of reaches, 3 or 4, place the ball in a different area. And again, see if you can get that reach to go a little bit further each time. Stay on that same side, continue to roll it through. Excellent. So if you feel that you did need a little bit more time there, that's fine. Spend a little bit more time there. Catch up with us later. Next, we're going to do a little bit of rolling with the ball on the back side of us. So here, we're going to work in, up, through the trap, coming down around the shoulder blades, following the scapula along that edge. So we're going to place that ball up and over against the wall, lean back into it. You can also do this from the floor, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you from the wall. I believe it's going to show a little bit better here. It also isn't as intense, so if you want to get really intense, you can do this on the floor. You can get a lot more weight into it, a lot easier. So right now I'm rolling through the trap. That's where we want to be targeting right now. Reaching that arm across so I can open it up and really get in there. And then again, I can start to reach out to the side, across the body, up in front and overhead, searching for where that tension is as I work through. So right now I'm on the trap, and again, I'm going to follow in and around the scapula until I get to the lat, which we've already done. So I'm going to move that ball a little bit down and a little bit inward as well. Move that arm around, search for where you carry tension and working through that range, that tension you can feel. Again, same as before, if this is feeling really good and you want to spend a little more time there, that's absolutely fine. Catch up with this later. We're going to move down just a little bit more. This is our last one, so you should be fairly close to that bottom edge of the scapula before we come out where we would get into the lat. Again, we need to do our reach. All different ranges of motion. Find where you're carrying tension. And let's move over to the other side. Onto the trap. Place that ball. Get your position. Start to roll it through. Remember to cross that arm over, open it up. Searching for where you carry tension, reaching. In all different ranges of motion. Roll through the area that you feel most tension is being created there in that position. Move that ball down and inward just a little bit here. Move into position 2 for our roll. Work it through again. Spend more tension where you feel you need. Search that range of motion. Down to position 3, readjust. Search for your range of motion, where that tension is being carried. Excellent. Next, we're going to move back to that roller. So with that roller, because the bicep is part of this structure, and when we do our stretching, say against the wall here, I can feel that through that bicep. So we're going to include that. We're going to roll a little bit through the chest and in by the armpit, as well as by our shoulder. So I'm going to give you a side or 45-degree angle sort of view here. You're going to lie yourself down and put your weight into the roller. Angle the roller slightly to get it in so you can feel that in the shoulder, right on the front of the shoulder, the humerus. If this was to be very uncomfortable for any reason, you could certainly go back to the ball against the wall. This just covers a good large surface area. I can turn that shoulder down into the roller a little bit more. So my palm is facing up, my thumb is pointed to my feet, and I'm on the shoulder right now. I'm going to go a little bit more into my bicep here, so I'm going to keep that same hand position, palm up, thumb pointed to the foot, and I'm going to roll through the bicep. Now the bicep has 2 lobes, so right now I'm working through one. Now I'm going to point my thumb down and my palm facing toward my feet. That's going to get the 2nd lobe of the bicep. And now I'm going to get into my tricep. So I want my thumb pointed up and my palm facing forward. So I'm going to readjust this roller just a little closer to my elbow here so I can find that. Make sure that you are doing the same thing. Follow along with the hand position and the roller position. So you may need to move it a little closer to the elbow here to feel that. Excellent, come on up. Next, we're gonna reach across ourselves here. So we're gonna drop down onto that roller. Thumb is pointed up to the ceiling. And draw your weight forward into that roller. The more weight, the more this will intensify. I can bend that elbow a bit here in this position, creating a little bit of contraction, similar to what we did with that arm reaching, figuring ranges of motion. Next, I'm going to put my palm face up and point thumb forward. So move your hand to that position so that you can roll through with me here. So we're all going to stay together as much as we can. Again, that contraction, bending the elbow. Excellent, so that was that first side. Give you a 45-degree angle here. Lying down, get that roller onto the chest, in your armpits somewhat, and rolling through. I'm going to adjust that roller a little bit more into the shoulder. So I'd invite you to do the same. Palm up, thumb pointed towards your feet. Note any difference as we're rolling through these areas. If you notice more tension on one side than the other, then you know which side has a little bit more tightness. And weakness too, because on the opposing side of that is the weaker muscles. So that's where we need to focus after we're done our rolling and stretching. Keeping that hand in the same position, move the roller down, getting into your bicep here. Adjust your thumb so that it's pointed to the floor and the palm of the hand is pointed down towards your feet. Again, you may need to adjust that roller a little closer to the elbow to feel this. Pointing the thumb up, palm facing forward. Getting into our tricep here, you may need to adjust your position to get into that spot, finding it. Again, we can bend our elbow here to create that contraction as we roll. And come on up, we're going to adjust our position. Next, we're getting into that tricep, so we need to cross over. Draw our weight down. Our thumb is pointed up and our palm of our hand facing down towards our feet at this time. Again, bend your elbow to create that contraction. Search for that range of motion that you carry tension. Adjusting your hands so now your thumb is pointed up and the palm is facing toward the ceiling. Again, you may need to adjust a little closer toward the elbow here. You can bend that elbow, creating contraction. right, so now that we've done our rolling, we're going to do our stretching. So we're going to stretch out our lats here. Hands forward, and then just walk off to the side slightly. Now I'm going to draw my weight back in the opposite direction on a 45-degree angle, and I'm stretching mainly on this side. Up that lat, drop your weight, sink your weight back on that angle as much as you can so you're feeling it right up through. For our stretches, we want to hold these for a long time so that we can create our good range of motion and loosen things up. It takes about 2 minutes for the central nervous system to kick in and really relax those muscles. Continue to breathe through your stretch. You can try and deepen that stretch now that we have been holding here a little bit. Try and deepen it if you can on that exhalation. Continue to hold. Try and deepen that stretch a little bit more if you can. And you can also hold that hand in place a bit. Sit the weight back a little bit further. We're almost there. Excellent. Moving over to the other side now. Reaching across, and we're going to sink that weight. Try and deepen that stretch a bit. Exhale. One more. Deepen that stretch again. You can try and support that hand with the other hand as you stretch into it a little bit deeper. Excellent. Come on up. Good. Next one, we're going to grab that band. Opening up behind, stretching back As I'm in this position, I want to keep my pelvis tucked. So if I show you a side view here, I want to make sure that I'm not anterior tilt. My glutes are engaged, and I keep that tailbone tucked. Now this is a really good one that we can do because we have ourselves. If you have a partner or a structure that you can tie the band off to, you can also do this as a single arm stretch, or even still as a double arm. You just have it wrapped around a pole or something that is good and sturdy, and then you could lean forward into it a little bit with that structure if you have that ability. If not, then we work with what we have. I've been able to move through range of motion, again showing the side view here. We're keeping our pelvis tucked, our glutes engaged. Excellent, coming all the way down. So we've moved through from an upper range to a lower range. And again, wherever you feel you want to spend a little more time, please feel free to do so, or incorporate a little bit more of that stretch, possibly at the end of the session. Excellent. If you don't have that band, then you can also do the wall stretch. So we're doing this right now with everyone together. We're stretching slightly different portion, but we can also add, if we just did that with our own musculature and we didn't have a structure to tie off to, we can get a little bit deeper here because we have a support structure, that wall. Change. So next is our dowel stretch. So again, you can spend a little more time on the wall, tying a band off to a structure. The dowel could be anything, your broomstick, right? So what you're going to do is take that dowel behind on the same shoulder of the hand that you're going to reach out behind. Then you're going to pull on that. Again, our pelvic tilt position. Show you both sides here. So I'm just going to pull up until I can feel that stretch. we can deepen that stretch a little bit. Exhale. Release the dowel first to return the hand back before attempting to unhook. And then we're going to go over to the other side. Give you a reverse view here, if that helps at all. Frontal plane view. This is our last stretch, and then we're going to move on to a little bit of strengthening for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll be done. Try and deepen that stretch a little bit more if you can. Release the dowel upright and then unhook. Come out of our position. So next we're going to grab that band. We're going to do some strengthening exercises here. So first one, we're going to hold the band. This is giving us not so much a resistance, but more so holding us in a straight position. So we're going to hold in that straight position overhead. It's up to us to provide that resistance. So on that side angle, I'm going to show you, we're going to isolate the shoulders, squeeze the lats back, exhale, and release upright. Squeeze the lats down, elbows together. Pretend that the band is a barbell at this point. So the reason I've used the band there is because not everyone necessarily has dowel, but vice versa. So we can also use that dowel and then pull, create that squeeze, release. Up to you which material you want to use, but you're creating your own dynamic tension here for these repetitions. Excellent. Next one, you will require the band. So as we pull, we're going to pull open the band. So we need to squeeze, open. We're keeping our pelvic position here. Pelvic is under our rib cage. Squeeze down and pull. Squeeze down. Opening those hands with that band. After those repetitions, we're now going to rotate our hands outward. So this is where a lot of the muscles are a bit weaker. So you need to have a band that is not too strong. In order to repeat these, open, close. Again, our pelvic position. Squeezing back. Excellent. So what I've taken you through is rolling, drawing blood flow to the area, stretching, holding those stretches for about 2 minutes so that we can get the central nervous system to relax. Then we've strengthened the opposing muscle groups that are spending a lot of time in the lengthened position. So we need to stretch and lengthen on the anterior mainly, and then on the posterior strengthen. Our lats, we need to roll those for that overhead and opening, because it's all overhead. Anything overhead, we want to do the lats as well. A lot of people carry tension in through the traps and in that upper region, which is why we targeted that today. But as far as if you need to pick apart the video just a little bit because the routine was too long for you and you want to focus a little bit more on just getting that open posture strength, I would recommend certainly doing the roll of the chest, the roll of the lat, the stretch of the chest, the stretch of the lat, and then do the strengthening exercises, the lat pull, the opening. And we can also do this opening movement, creating our own dynamic tension without a band. It just provides so much more resistance with a band. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and good luck with your training.
PSP Kingston, the health and wellness provider for the military community.